Read the lads and lasses, how we're doing and welcome back to the channel. You lot have all been asking me for actually quite a long time right now, can you do a keep, loan, sell video? And of course, when you sort of say that, you probably think, I want to do the whole 25-man squad, including the likes of Sandro Tonali, Alexander Isak, all that sort of stuff. Well, I can't really do that because, let's be real, that is probably a video to do at the end of the season because we've got the Sandro Tonali situation. We've got all these players coming out on loan and it's probably fairer to judge them when they come back to Newcastle United rather than a current loan right now that could get injured and it could completely ruin them, if you know what I mean. But we are doing a keep, loan, sell video on Newcastle United's current 10 loanees who are, of course, away from Newcastle United out on loan. And this also gives us another chance to take a look at how their loans are going, a little bit more about the players because there is a fair few there that we've not ever spoke about on the channel as a whole. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Not gonna lie, I've been wanting to do this one for actually quite a long time now. There's 10 players here who we are going to get through in chronological order, basically. There is no goalkeepers. I do know that Newcastle United have I think it's a young lad called Max Thompson who's out on loan. Is it Northampton Town off the top of my head? But he's not actually played any minutes for the first team squad or ever been included in the first team squad, so hence why he's excluded, and any other players in that sort of criteria will be excluded from this. But I've got the likes of Dylan Stevenson, Michael Ndewini, who did make an appearance for Newcastle United against Chelsea in this. But of course we are going to do it from defender to midfielder and then to attackers, who I'm pretty much guessing all of you want to say the attackers. But before we get into the video, ladies and gentlemen, I've done this on your recommendation, so like the video if you do enjoy, and of course it's a fan discussion video, so get down below and let me know what would you do with these players that I'm going through right now. For example, we're going to go through Harrison Ashby first, who's currently out on loan at 15th place championship side Swansea City. Would you keep him? Would you give him yet another loan after the season ends, or would you sell him as of right now? Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. So hit that like button. But, of course, like I said, we'll get through Harrison Charles Ashby first. Don't know why I've just called him through his full maiden name there, given by his mum or his dad. Don't know why I've done that. But Harrison Ashby is up first. And like I said, he's out on loan at Swansea City, who are 15th in the Championship right now. It's not going too well to them. Well, actually, when Harrison Ashby went to Swansea at first, he wasn't doing too bad there. In his first 7 games, I believe it was, he registered a goal and an assist, making just about 6 appearances or something like that. But ever sort of recently, it's been going very, very bad for Harrison Ashby. He's not even been included in the Swansea City squad for 9 consecutive games. And honestly, I can say this with full knowledge. I'm not trying to hide anything here. I've been searching up everywhere. Is Harrison Ashby injured? Like, there's no way he's not getting put in the squad for that many games. And I cannot see anything anywhere on the Swansea City website, on Premier Injuries, that he's actually injured. So I don't know what's going on there. He made 2 appearances prior to them 9 games in a row, which he's missed. It was a 25-minute and a 23-minute cameo, I believe it was, against Leicester and somebody else. But before them 2 games previously to them, he wasn't even in the squad for 10 whole games. What's going on there, I do not know. But with Harrison Ashby himself, we've only seen a little bit of him at Newcastle United. Of course, he got that goal against Rangers in pre-season. I think his debut for Newcastle, the under-21 side. He scored a goal and got an assist, and I think that assist was actually to Ryan Fraser, who of course is in this video pretty later on as well. But with Harrison Ashby, I believe he actually came into Newcastle United for a financial fair play sort of flip so we can make a little bit of profit on him, because look at who we've got at right back. We've got Kieran Trippier there, who for Eddie Howe is one of the first names on the team sheet, and for me as well. But next season, we've arguably got another right back who is almost as fantastic. Right now I'm talking about, he's unbelievable, isn't he? Tino Livramento. He's going to be in contention for that first place right back spot next season. Of course, Trippier is aging, but he's still got the know-how. He's still got the set piece ability. He's still got the crossing, the leadership, he's got the voice. He's got absolutely everything, Kieran Trippier. Honestly, I would love to see him like be a coach at Newcastle United after his time's done. But what I'm saying is the competition there for Harrison Ashby to sort of compete with is very, very big, and I don't think he can do it. Of course, we've got them 2 there. We've actually got Emil Kraft as well, who signed a 1-year deal. Every time Emil Kraft's come in this season against Fulham and Chelsea, he's actually been pretty decent as well. I don't even think Kieran Trippier, apart from the set pieces and the sort of captaincy leadership, was actually a miss. Kraft was pretty decent when he come in. So for that reason, I think Harrison Ashby, such a young age, we bought him for £3 million. He's still got a bit of potential on him there, so I'm going to say loan. I don't think selling him right now will do him any good. If we can get him out to a proper loan, I think that'll do something for Newcastle United, and of course it will do something for him personally. And moving swiftly on to our second out of 10th player who we will get through, and it's one we've never actually covered. Yet again, this is another good video. I'll find a little bit out about the players and their current loan spell. It's Matthew Bondswell, who we think it was 2 years ago now, we signed on a free transfer. He was a product of RB Leipzig's academy, of course. You're not any sort of mug if you're coming from their academy, because they really do prioritise up-and-coming players. But ever since then, he's went on loan to Shrewsbury. In this current season, he's out on loan at Newport County. They're not the best calibre of teams on there. It's not what you want for a rise and start, so to speak. I think he's kind of a old product of the ex-academy, if you know what I mean. That academy was so overlooked by Mike Ashley and Steve Bruce. They've been a pretty hot topic today. Oh my God, I'm absolutely sick of them. But Matthew Bondswell, 34 appearances for Newport County in all competitions this season, 29 in League Two, 1 goal in the FA Cup and 1 goal in the Carabao Cup as well. He's pretty much up for the Cup, but he's not doing that bad for them actually. But yet again, it kind of is Newport County. So from that in itself, I kind of do want to cut ties with them. But look, he's 21 years old. But another reason to why I do want to kind of cut ties with him, of course, we will get PR profits from that because he is a free transfer. The competition at left back is very, very stacked. Dan Burn, Eddie Howe's favourite. Tino Livramento can play there, of course. Matthew Targett, who on 100 grand a week, it's going to be pretty hard to offload him. And of course, we've got the likes of Dummett, Trippier, and bloody Matt Ritchie who can play there as well. So yet again, competition is coming into the factor. 21 years old. If we can get him a nice loan, yet again do that. But sell, get him off the wage week, so with all due respect to him, that would probably be the most beneficial for Newcastle United. And keeping on the topic of left backs, and one which actually really does hurt me to say, we are moving on to Jamal Lewis. And I was actually so happy when we signed Jamal Lewis from Norwich City. Of course, he had this kind of little potential around him. And I'm going to be real, I found out about his potential because I used to absolutely bash FIFA career mode back in the day. And he had a lot of potential on that game. I didn't actually watch him, but when he come to Newcastle United, he was absolutely terrible. Defending-wise, he was terrible. And, of course, I think he's only had 1 appearance for Newcastle United this season. That was against Rangers in pre-season, like Harrison Ashby, for that Ali McGregor testimonial. I was at that game, personally. And he was absolutely terrible. Although he was playing out of position, I think he was playing left wing or something. Sideways passing all the time. He couldn't beat a man. He didn't want to take on a man. Honestly, he looked absolutely hopeless. It looked like his confidence was genuinely rock bottom. And it does hurt me to say that, by the way, because I really did want him to succeed in Newcastle United. Was signed him for 14 million euros, or was it 14 million pounds? I can't exactly remember, but that is actually a lot of money, especially in the bloody Ashley and Steve Bruce days. Why do they keep coming to me head? But genuinely, he just hasn't cracked it. Newcastle United. He's on loan at Watford right now. 29 appearances for them this season. I think we've just got to cut ties. Yet again, I've mentioned it with Matthew Bondswell as well. The competition at left back: Dan Burn, Targett, Tino, Trippier, Lewis Hall, Matt Ritchie, Paul Dummett. It's just too much for him. It's just time to cut ties. We don't need another left back. It is pretty sad, but I think it's time to go. We can get at least £5 million from him. I think, actually, I'd take that all day. Sell him to Watford. If they sort of rate him highly enough, I'm taking that every single day of the week. Now, the last defender before we get onto the midfielders and, of course, the attackers, which I'm probably guessing all of you want to do the attackers. You want to see them in 10. You want to see the Garang Qual and them sort of stuff. You can wait just for that. Now, the last defender, who's kind of a pretty familiar name because he's a boyhood lad. Of course, he's come through the academy ranks and he's been with us for a very long time now. He's 24 years old and his name is Kelland Watts. He's on loan at Wigan Athletic, which is actually his second loan with the Ticks, but he's been on around 6 loan spells now. I think the likes of Plymouth Argyle, Mansfield, who else was it? Peterborough. He's just not kind of clicked at Newcastle United, has he? And of course, with being a young lad, he's going to be PR profit. Although it may not be a massive profit like Matthew Bondswell, it still is a profit for Newcastle United. It's wages off the books. Every little helps in this sort of FFP conundrum situation that we are in right now. But look, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to get us onto the midfielders and the attackers. I'm going to sell Kelland Watts. We've got the centre-backs for the likes of Botman, Shaw, and I know he is a young up-and-coming centre-back. Shaw, Lascelles, Dummett, Kraft, them sort of players are kind of aging, but he's not the calibre of players we want in Newcastle United. He's a young lad. We'll wish him all the best, of course, because he's a Geordie. He's done pretty well for himself, I guess, getting him out on loan to them sort of places. He got promotion with one of the EFL teams. I can't remember exactly which one. We wish him all the best. If he does go, and I'm pretty guessing he probably will go, you let me know down below what you think of this one and, of course, the rest of them. But for me, it is a sell. And moving on to midfielders, and actually Ryan Fraser, for some reason, I've classed as a midfielder. Just don't know right here. I've kind of jotted down some little notes and stuff. He is kind of an attacker, isn't he? But Ryan Fraser, straight off the bat, no beating around the bush. Sell, sell, sell. Now, I'm not actually disregarding Ryan Fraser's ability because, let's be real, his crossing and his passing, he actually was an unbelievable crosser and probably still is as well. I haven't watched him too much at Southampton. But genuinely, his crossing is absolutely fantastic. I remember, was it a cross to St. Maximin in the last minute against Southampton? It was an absolute peach of a ball. He's done that a fair few times. Then Southampton went and equalised with a penalty in the last minute as well because Adam Armstrong won it. Typical Geordies coming to bite. We're back in the But look, Ryan Fraser, straight away sell. Like I said, I'm not disregarding his ability, but it's because he can't work with Eddie Howe. He's actually doing pretty decent for Southampton this season. I think it's like 8 goals and 3 assists. Yes, it's 8 goals and 3 assists. That's just clicked in my head there. So he's not actually a bad player, which makes it even better that we can sell him because he's got a little bit of value there, especially if Southampton do want him back. They're high and flying in the Championship. Well, I say high and flying, they are 4th in the Championship, which is pretty high and flying. And if we were 4th, I'd say we're high and flying. But Ryan Fraser right now, yet again, it's because he can't work with Eddie Howe. He's had a fallout with Eddie Howe at Newcastle United because he got sent down to the under-23s. Like I mentioned before, Harrison Ashby on his debut assisted Ryan Fraser against Norwich in the 1-3-2, I think it was. But Ryan Fraser, he's fell out with Eddie Howe. You can't fall out with the manager. We can't have that attitude at Newcastle United, let alone we don't even need his ability anymore, although Miggy Almiron's sort of current form isn't the best. But also he fell out with Eddie Howe at Bournemouth as well, which kind of made him come to Newcastle United. So it's just not going to work whatsoever. Simple as he can't work in Newcastle United. Get a nice little fee, sell, sell, sell. And I'm just going to keep this one short as well. Rodrigo Vilca, which I'm guessing for sort of new viewers to me and kind of new fans of Newcastle United, you don't have a clue who Rodrigo Vilca is. We signed him in the 2020-2021 season for like 250 grand. Ever since that, he's went on loan to Doncaster, Universitario, who actually are a very big club in Peru. I'm not going to disregard them. In a club called Voždovac in Serbia. Honestly, this is the definition of dead wood. What on earth type of signing was this? This is a typical Steve Bruce, Mike Ashley signing. Why we signed him, I don't know. He's not played a minute for Newcastle United. Sell. And finally, moving on to what I've labelled as attackers, including, I'm just going to say it now, Garang Kuol, Michael Ndawini, Yankuba Minter and Dylan Stevenson. You might not know who he is, we'll get onto that later. But we're starting off with Garang Kuol, and if you don't know about Garang Kuol, I specifically made a video exactly on his situation at FC Volendam. If you haven't watched that video, it should be on the I button somewhere. Yeah, I might put that in, I might not, because I might be a little bit lazy and want to get myself outside in that sun because it's unbelievable today. But Garang Kuol, his situation at FC Volendam is absolutely terrible. Genuinely one of the worst loans I've seen. FC Volendam are currently rock bottom of the Eredivisie by some margin as well. 1 win in their last 17 games they've picked up. Garang Kuol's got 42 minutes of game time in the last 3 months. The manager who signed Garang Kuol's been sacked, and they've sacked 12 members of staff behind the scenes. Imagine being Garang Kuol. And by the way, this young lad has so much potential. He's the youngest ever appearance maker in the World Cup knockout stages since Pelé. That is some calibre. Of course, he done that for Australia, and he nearly ended Argentina's World Cup run with the extra time shot. Was it an extra time shot? I can't remember. Or might be in the dying seconds of the game. The eventual winners, Argentina, of course. But he's got so much potential. He was really hyped up when he came to Newcastle United. He had another unsuccessful loan spell of thoughts. Honestly, I really feel for this lad. But Newcastle United, actually, in other news, have just sort of confirmed that we will be going to Australia and Melbourne specifically to play Tottenham Hotspur, Ange Postecoglou's hometown, and the A-League All-Stars, the Australian League All-Stars. So hopefully Yankuba Minter, Garang Kuol, it can do him the world of good. Being back in his home country with Newcastle United, I don't know, superstitions it might be, but for Garang Kuol, for me, get him a loan, and actually get him a loan that suits him, because I think Shola Ramiobi and Peter Ramage are doing a very bad job of Garang Kuol at the minute. We are moving into the final 3 players, starting off with Michael Ndawini, who of course has came through the academy ranks of Newcastle United. He's always been a youngster and he's a very, very local lad, 20 years of age. He's currently out on loan at Annan Athletic, a League One side in the Scottish League. Now, when he was first sort of loaned out of them, I had some fair few eyebrows raised. Why are we sending players out on loan to League One Scotland? That's a very poor league quality. I don't want to disregard Michael Ndawini's ability or Annan Athletic, because that's pretty disrespectful, as of course they are a football club, they stand on their own 2 legs. But League One Scottish, I don't know what experience it's going to bring him. Yet again, I'm surely sure I could have got a better loan than that. But look, 2 goals in his last 8 games. I'm not going to disregard his ability because he made an appearance against Chelsea when we thrashed them 4-1 at St James's Park. Get that up them. But look, Eddie Howe obviously trusted him for a little bit. Otherwise, he would have been with the under-23s. He's still got a little bit of time on his hands. He's 20 years old. Get him back and get him on another loan, which is pretty more of a higher calibre. But look, I hope all goes well for him. And yet again, I hope he comes back, gets our loan and absolutely smashes it. And this is the one you've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. I'll not make it last. I'll not make you agonisingly wait another minute before I mention his name. The star loanee, the one who's by far got the most potential. It's Yankuba Minter. Finally, I've mentioned him. You can rest now, lads and lasses. It's Yankuba Minter. And look, he's been absolutely smashing it. He's got a goal in the Champions League. He's got 4 appearances in the Champions League. Since when were we in a position as a club where our loanees get Champions League minutes and Champions League goals? That's a sign of a very, very good player, and that doesn't happen too often. I'm just going to say that. Like I said, he's out on loan at Feyenoord, and genuinely when we signed him straight away for €8 million from OB Odense, I think it was, Norway or Denmark. I get mixed up with them two all the time. Similar sort of Scandinavian flags. But he's been absolutely smashing it. 29 appearances for Feyenoord this season. 4 appearances in the Champions League, 8 goals. 8 goals, 3 assists. He's been genuinely, absolutely smashing it. Blistering pace, and there's even been shouts for him to come back early and replace Miggy Almiron. If that's not a good sign to replace your current right winger, I don't know what is. But look, simple as, he's a Gambian sensation. He genuinely is a very, very high promising player. And I'm just going to say it straight off the bat. I'm struggling with this one. Do we keep him at 20 years of age and put him straight into Premier League football, or do we sort of nurture him and put him in a very, very good loan? But by the way, I think this loan, if we do put him on another one, it could be a very make or break loan. This loan spell at Feyenoord, honestly, my speech has become a bit more leaky than Newcastle United's defence this season. If he has another loan spell away from Feyenoord, because of course this one is so successful, if he has another one and it's not so successful, that could genuinely break him. But if he has another fantastic one, it would very much make him. But I think sticking him into the sort of deep end of the Premier League, chucking him with all that sort of responsibility, because he knows right now Newcastle fans will sort of be wanting Almiron to get out, put Minter in, which I do think is a bit harsh. But I think it's too much responsibility to put on such a young lad. And I think actually Lewis Miley being 17 years old, coming in and sort of having these performances for Newcastle, is kind of manipulated our perception on how young lads should be. If Lewis Miley's 17, then that 20-year-old should be doing it. He's still a young lad. We can't sort of chuck him into the deep end like that. Lewis Miley's situation was extraordinary. He's done extraordinary, but it was a very peculiar situation. Yank him in for me, get him out on loan yet again, but get him at one which is definitely going to suit him and one where he can absolutely thrive on. Onto the final loan of the video. In the final one of the video, ladies and gentlemen, it is just a young lad called Dylan Stevenson. He's from Ashington. He's currently out on loan at South Shields, 21 years of age. And actually, from kind of a few years ago, Dylan Stevenson was the one that was sort of breaking all them records in the academy. He's actually got 5 goals and 10 appearances in the National North League, I think it is, yes. He's been doing okay, but he's 21 years of age. I don't think, look, let's be real, he's not going to come back to Newcastle and set the world alight and take Alexander Isak's spot, if you know what I mean. But he's a local lad. He's still 21 years of age. If he's absolutely smashing the National League North, get him back next season. Get him on another loan. Hopefully he can make the step above to the National League, then League 2, League 1. He can work his way up. He has that responsibility. So for this season, I'm going to say loan. We'll wrap the video up there, ladies and gentlemen. You let me know down below what your sort of decisions are. If you were the manager, to put all these players out on loan, keep or sell. But there's my sort of opinions there. Thank you very much if you did enjoy the video. Subscribe and like if you haven't already. I've been Geordie Josh. Still sunny. I'm going to get myself out there. I've been Geordie Josh. Go and enjoy your day.